Melba Moore is a legendary singer and actress with a career spanning 6 decades. Now that's from Google. But for me, she's one of my first interviews ever, and she was delightful. But for this edition of Classic Conversations, I reunited with her in 2026 to talk about her memoir that just came out called This Is It, Marvelous and Getting Better. She was marvelous, and she did get better. And of course, I did go back to the archive to pull sound bites to play for her, which was cool. Her words, not mine. So here we go. Let's play. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now, I don't know if anyone's told you this, Miss Moore, but you were one of my first interviews ever. What's so bizarre is my first question was, I was such a baby then. I hope I got better. I hope I get better. You treated me with kid gloves. You were great.
Aw. Well, people treated me with kid gloves. God knows I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah. I beg to agree. Okay, and then here's the second thing before I just get started. I just want to let you know, my first interview I ever did was 2 months prior to that, and I did it in my car because I was doing it for broadcast radio. And we were at a dance studio, and you've been to a few dance studios. The noise was too much. So I'm 21, I'm in my car. And so the only reason why I'm telling you this story is this: I'm in my car again outside of my studio. The Wi-Fi's down in our recording studio. So I had to go to my car. I'm in my car literally with my Wi-Fi from my car. So I'm a little discombobulated. Just want you to know. All right, we're done. Now, we're not done. Let's start. By the way, what's so funny is you had a cool story to me back then. And now, Matt, it's like, well, I guess we have a bigger, cooler story now, courtesy of your memoir. Can you tell me a little bit about how this, it's an obvious question, but I'm sure people have been telling you, when is this book coming out for 30 years? So talk to me about that. Am I right? I can't.
Yeah. And I tried a couple of times to do a book, and I found that depending on who you're doing it with, it can be quite an involved process and complicated. And so I never really quite got to get to the finished aspect of somebody representing me and getting to that point. But so the time has passed, and I kind of went on with my life, and I guess I didn't forget about it, but I didn't make it a priority. I didn't really focus on it. And so about a year ago, my daughter said, "Well, Ma, everybody's got a book out, but you. You need to do a book, Ma."
Well, what's interesting, because I've done this before with artists, especially since you straddle not just, film and acting. You straddle industries. What's interesting is like when they're doing a compilation album or they're doing a book, the things that come back flooding, the memories, the emotions. Once you open up that faucet, it just pours out, I'm assuming. Did you experience, so of course I'm leading into what was that experience like, reliving, if you will, a lot of the good and a lot of the not so good?
Well, it's been a long time coming. So I've had an opportunity to reinvent, heal, go different directions for a lot of the things that have happened. So they don't have especially the challenges and the difficult things and really horrible things. They don't have that devastating effect on me anymore as I remember them. Of course, the good memories, you don't shut them down. So you like reliving those things over again. And I guess the only challenge with that is you can just get stuck in something that's really, really good, but that's really not relevant to the story.
Well, what's interesting is that, so part of the fun part of my interview with you today is I get to play a clip of me asking you about, it was funny. It was me asking you about hair. And it's of course I was asking, I was like, it wasn't, I guess I wasn't the greatest interviewer back then, but here we go. Listen to this.
Well, you're not new to the stage.
You're not new to the stage.
Let's go back to hair. One of mostly everybody's remembers hair.
Mm-hmm.
When you look back on that, what do you think about it?
Well, it's interesting that you went from this thought to that, because it really was based on, it was written because they were trying to make a statement about love being the most important force and the only thing that we should pay attention to, and that it should unify us and regardless of our differences, and that it should allow us to be honest and speak out about whatever the problems were, whatever the concerns were, that we should not hide behind government or behind status or behind race or creed. We should just be totally open. And I do remember most recently being a part of a reunion where we performed for the United Nations, for UNICEF. And as we went into the rehearsal, I was really kind of concerned if I still remember the lyrics, if it was still the right key or whatever. And I was, my head was into the work part of it. And I wasn't really paying attention to the fact that the rehearsal room was full of old friends and loved ones. And I sort of, kind of meandered in. When someone came from behind me and hugged me, I'm getting ready to start, singing my song or whatever. And I looked around and it was a dear loved friend, And when that person finished, another person came and hugged, and I said, oh my heavens, I forgot.
Unbelievable. There was a lot of love in that room.
Wow, I've never heard myself back in those days.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, no, I mean, so I guess, well, you talk about it.
I'm glad you did that. I'm sitting here thinking, oh, now you see what you sound like.
Well, it's funny because people do ask you, especially because you have a memoir out, to look back.
Absolutely.
And, so that's what I was kind of like getting to. It's just too funny. It's like, and then I would also ask you, well, let me just look forward now. So it's no secret that, because it's funny, when I interviewed you initially, I don't get a lot of notes. I just get like a 2-page bio on you, that's it, and what they want me to say. Now, because of technology, I asked ChatGPT, hey, I'm going to interview Melba Moore. It is crazy what they can dig in and find out about you. One of the cooler, or an interesting, I should say, question was, are there particular stories or revelations in the memoir that you felt were untold or surprising, even to people who know your career so well? I just love that one. Were there?
Well, that's one of the things I guess I've been saying in recent interviews, is that one of the interesting things about the memoir is that because it's a book and not an interview, you get a chance to kind of go into certain things that many times, because your time is limited or the format is not really for that, you people think they know you, but they really have only seen sound bites. And so you can go into a little bit more details or a different perspective than you might normally have an opportunity to, depending on the format that I've had opportunity to do before. And of course, those formats have expanded till there's so much more diversity in terms of as a person asking you a question, what their background is because that's really what's going to determine what the questions are. Like, for instance, most of the Black people that interview me don't know nothing about hair because they didn't go see the show. I mean,
Hilarious.
it's very,
Hilarious.
Or if it's about, Broadway, they still may not know about it because Black people, in terms of theater, for a person who's mature like me, are relatively still new at being, audiences that you can count or pander to. We have lots of it now, but it hasn't been really going on that. I mean, it hasn't been going on any more than about 20 years.
Oh my God, when I interviewed you, you already had a Tony.
Yeah.
Crazy, right? I mean, think about that.
But I started out with a Tony.
It's crazy.
That's unusual. That's crazy.
Yeah, you thought it was normal. Oh yeah, you just
I didn't think it was normal. I knew it was not normal. That's why when at the Tony Awards, I didn't have anything to say when I got it because I didn't have time to think that far.
Oh my God! One thing that I love that you told me in this interview, I asked you any bizarre stories, and I don't know if this one's in the book though. Here, I'm just gonna play for you. Just see if you remember this.
Has there ever been like a time when you've been on stage or singing that there's something went wrong, anything bizarre or anything funny? I mean, you are kind of a comedic.
Well, during those times, I'm not trying to be funny. It just happens. Well, the other day, I just did the Pat Sajak show. And I don't believe it. I guess I'm kind of known for doing high notes that sound like fire engines that kind of pierce your eardrum. And for long notes, And someone once clocked me at 42 seconds. I remember hearing that, but I'd never clocked myself. So they challenged me on the show to see if I could break my record.
Do you remember if you broke your record?
I think I did. And you know what?
I don't know what I'm
can
going to do
hold it
because I'm
longer
very
now.
nervous, and it takes sort of kind of a formula to do it. And those things I usually do in private. So I had to take a huge cup of my secret formula drink. And I had to take a big chunk of my secret formula food, so my jaws are sticking out like chipmunks.
You are hilarious. I'm glad you're laughing.
My secret formula.
Your secret formula drink and your secret formula food.
I didn't look very nice, but I did break my record. I went past 42 seconds, and they clocked it at 46 seconds. So now maybe they'll put me in the Guinness Book of Records or something.
Actually, I'm in there now.
For that?
I don't know for that, but for holding the longest note.
Oh my
in Guinness Book of
God.
Records. Because in some cases I can do it longer.
Oy. Well, if you have your secret formula food and your secret, asking for a friend, what is that secret formula?
Well, I've gotten older, the body changes, so it's changed. But a lot of it, when you do anything, you keep some of it. So I don't have to do the same things because I've been doing it for so long. I have some of it, but you have to revive it and you have to do some different things because, I don't have the hormones. I mean, I don't get my period anymore. I hate to say that like that, but it does a lot of different things that help you be young and your vitality fed and nurtured in a lot of different ways. And it doesn't do that anymore. So you have to do other things.
Yeah, but you look adorable. You look the same. I'm serious. I mean, I don't, but you look the same.
But that's magic, okay? That's my magic. No.
That's your magic.
Thank you.
Well, the one other thing, I didn't need ChatGPT to come up with this prep for me. Which, by the way, I'm saying it tongue in cheek. I have been doing this for a while, but it did mention some version of perseverance and pivoting, and I'm working with Body by Jake Steinfeld, and he has a show called Don't Quit, and so. I need to get your story on how did you not quit? What what kept you? What was your secret formula to just keep moving on?
Well, when things kind of really just totally got destroyed, I could have started looking for other things, but I kept looking for ways to get back to singing, to get back to the stage, and eventually someone helped me to take one step at a time, and I always was able to get back to doing it. So it's not like I did anything by myself, but I was perseverant, I think, and keep trying to look for some way to get started again in this field, not try to do something else.
Yeah, but that's it's a challenge, but I think you just said it. It's like one step at a time. It almost like you just kept doing.
Well, I kept getting help, so it kept happening because I can't tell you. The people said, "Why don't you go teach school again?" I don't want to teach school. So you mean that I knew, but if it had gone on long enough where I couldn't get back to take the first step and keep going, I would have had to try to do something else. So it's always very important to me to remember that something or someone always came along to help me to take that first step to get back. But I was persevering and first trying to get back to what I want to do, what I like to do, what I feel my calling is, and not just trying to look for something else or just a job or just anything. Trying to stick with that first. If it didn't work, you have to do something else. You have to live.
Yeah, well, Miss Moore, I just want you to know that I'm glad that wait, one thing you neglected to say, you also have the talent. Not everybody has the talent to do.
But also you can have as much talent. You can have. Thank God I have talent, but you can have as much talent as the most talented person can have. But if you don't have some of these other elements, it won't happen.
Well, I also know a lot of your folks in the community don't know about your best, your Grammy nominee for best black, and not black, but rock female vocal for "Read My Lips." It's so funny. I asked you about that in the interview.
You know what's funny?
What?
You know what's funny? If you didn't make that slip and you didn't explain it, if you said rock, it really meant white.
Oh, yeah.
You did a little Freudian slip there.
But it's true. I mean,
R&B means black.
Without a doubt.
Right. I mean, everybody knows that, but that's funny.
Yeah.
You slipped on this and told the truth.
Hey, I was the white guy in the room. I said it out loud. I say it in my book, you know? Um, I literally was. I was doing interviews for Tom Joyner, so, I had to, and in fact, I did one of our interviews. Our interview was for his syndicated radio show, so I do wanna I have to talk about music just before we get out of here. I know it's a book, but, you know, people I asked you about the '60s and like, what was so special about that music? You said some great stories, but as we've moved on, I feel like '90s hip hop and R&B was something special. Maybe for your daughter, but what about
No, it was. It
what
was for
about
me too.
yeah, let me hear it. I wanna hear
One
about
of
it.
the reasons is because I don't know how, I was just blessed to stay relevant with the rappers and hip hoppers because I was among some of the people whose music that they sampled.
Ooh, give me some. I forget. What which who sampled?
Well, I mean, like You Stepped in My Life, um, some others that I'm not.
Right, but so those they kept you,
Yeah.
which is great. I mean, it's so funny. I talked to Val Young about Rick James, and she's on a Tupac's track, "To Live and Die in L.A." It's so funny. I say Rick James, and I always wonder if anyone has a story. You probably have a story.
Somebody just told me a story about Rick James. He was getting honored for something, and he was dressed in something, and he was very hot. And so the interviewer said, you asked him, well, how do you feel? He said, I feel like I'm so hot, I'm going to die. But then he said he did pass away. So
Oh, no. Hopefully not then.
that was sad.
Yeah. So
But Rick James, of course, is true icon.
yeah, I know. So was Luther Vandross. He's in my book. Did you ever have a chance to work with Luther?
Absolutely. Can I tell you something really funny?
Talk to me.
You know, Luther was also like a background singer, recording artist, background singer. He sung background on my records.
Shut up.
But you know what's funny? These were not, none of these records were hits of mine, but there was a time when our management and our team was encouraging me to try to write songs. And so there were some songs that I wrote that we recorded. And when you listen to them, now there's no better singer if he's singing with a group or by himself than Luther Vandross, but his voice sticks out.
Listen.
You can hear Luther because it's so unique.
Yeah.
If you listen to the music, you can hear his voice, even though he's beautifully blended with everybody else. You can still hear that's him.
It's amazing. David Bowie, Roberta Flack, they said to him, go out, sing, please, you need to be on your own. And the fact that you even say it too, it's just so,
Oh yeah.
yeah. I mean, and speaking of musicals, he wrote a song for The Wiz, but he didn't know he wrote it for The Wiz. So that's an interesting story. It was only when he went to see the show on Broadway that he heard the song. He's like, that's my song. True story. Yeah. But he got paid eventually. Okay. I'm playing one last quote because I mentioned about '90s music, but this is you talking about '60s music. I like it.
What about that era, that whole '60s? What was the music like? What do you remember about the music?
Oh, well, I was very much into the R&B music, so I remember Aretha Franklin. I remember Dionne Warwick, Diana Ross and the Supremes, the Miracles. A great deal of the Motown people because they were so prominent, but also James Brown. I remember Edwin Hawkins singers. Gospel music was still very, very, very strong. I mean, not necessarily in the popular vein, but I remember Edwin Hawkins singers. Um, oh, Happy Day popping through on the pop charts, and just I guess tremendous renaissance or outburst of good music that represented the culture in the period.
I love that. I mean, you probably ended up working with all those people too.
A lot of them, yeah. Yeah.
It's great. I'm looking
You know
forward.
what?
What?
You know what? I just had a flashback being backstage, going up the stairs, hearing Edwin Hawkins singing, Oh, Happy Day, and Ronnie Dyson singing it with them.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
I mean, that's kind of like, if I could put into a picture what the 60s music was for me. Well, thinking about it now.
Well, what's interesting too is like, I feel like I'm talking to, a legend that, because like you said, today people, black people do know about the theater and they know musicals because obviously there's been some pretty
And
solid
books.
yes, and books. And I just almost feel like, I just kind of want to see the homage paid to you, Miss Moore.
Oh,
And so I just want to give you nothing but love from my end.
oh gosh, thank you. Thank you.
And it's been, I can't do the math, but it's been decades. And I'm so glad that you were so kind to me when I was little, and you're still kind to me when I'm not as little. So
Oh, that's wonderful for us.
I thank you so much, Miss Moore, and I'm going to shine a light on you, and I wish you nothing but love and success.
Hey, thank you.
And
This is really enjoyable.
all right, my dear.
All right.
Thank you for taking some time out. I'm rooting for you still.
Yeah, this has been beautiful. Keep on having a wonderful life.
Oh, don't make me write that down. I'm doing it. All right, Miss Moore. The one and only Melba Moore, everybody. Woo! Just kidding. She said it all. It was great reconnecting with her. I'm rooting for her memoir to fly off the shelves. Remember, it's marvelous and getting better. And while you're at it, pick up a copy of Classic Conversations, 90s Hip Hop and R&B. It's on Amazon. Wait, did I just plug myself? Sorry. Whoops. Anyway, but for real, if you like the interview, there's plenty more where that's at. Hit subscribe, tell a friend. They'll get a kick out of these conversations, these classic conversations, or as I like to say, podcasting before podcasting.